Greetings collectors, and welcome to part 3 of the Horus mini-series. We're looking at the Horus series for the ZX Spectrum. In parts 1 and 2 we examined Horus's first outing in Hungry Horus and the action-packed sequel, Horus Goes Skiing. 1983 saw Horus's third outing in Horus and the Spiders. Having already conquered the park and the ski slopes, it was time for Horus to enter the caves and take on the Spiders in a final showdown. What started as an unassuming project for William Tang had now become a true, bona fide, well-selling series on the ZX Spectrum. What's more, Horus himself was now instantly recognisable as a video game mascot for the Spectrum line of microcomputers. A video game trilogy can be difficult to pull off, and still reasonably rare. Back in 1983, it was practically unheard of, but that's exactly what William Tang achieved here. Horus and the Spiders can be thought of as 3 distinct challenges. Firstly, you'll make your way through the cave entrance, making sure to jump over the spiders and up the cliff. It sounds easy, but until you nail that timing, you will need to get some practice rounds in. Secondly, you'll move on to the swinging web stage, officially known as crossing the spider bridge. The aim here is to cross the gap by jumping on the trailing spider webs and then swing your way across with some well-timed jumps. Think Pitfall, but with spiders. The last stage sees you finally go head-to-head with the spiders, a level officially known as Killing the Spiders. The aim here is to destroy parts of the spider web. This should at some point trigger the spiders to fix the broken sections. Whilst they're doing so, it's your chance to stomp on them and defeat them once and for all. For retro arcade aficionados out there, you'll notice the mechanic was inspired from Universal's classic game Space Panic. In terms of physical presentation, I have something a bit special to show you. You might remember that Hungry Horus and Horus Goes Skiing were distributed on cassette, as was the style at the time. What I have here though is Horus and the Spiders in cartridge format for the ZX Spectrum. You see, once games got up to a certain level of commercial value, the expensive option of cartridge distribution was on the cards, and Horus had more than earned his place there. With faster loading times and the potential for larger adventures, cartridges were the Spectrum's higher-end way to get you the games you loved. Of course, the mass release of the game was still on cassette tape, and most likely the version you might have played. Although you won't see this cartridge edition topping out at ridiculous amounts of cash, these are highly sought after by Horus fans. Overall, Horus and the Spiders is perhaps the most ambitious game of the series. With sections of scrolling, interaction with other sprites, and platforming, this was perhaps the pinnacle of William Tang's work on the series. So, what happened to Tang, and Horus for that matter? Let's start with William Tang. Where is he now, and why did he stop? This is an often asked question in retro gaming. There are sources cited that he had planned a 4th entry in the series, Horus to the Rescue. However, before he could complete it, he suffered a collapsed lung. Whilst this is one of those generally accepted facts shared around the internet as being true, I looked into this. To be 100% transparent, I actually tried to track William down as part of research for the miniseries. Other than a scant Wikipedia entry citing another sighting in Crash magazine, there really is little in the way of a secondary source to corroborate that this story of the collapsed lung is true, at least to a level of detail that puts it beyond any doubt. We do know that he continued to work for Melbourne House and Beam Software until at least 1986 as a coder on the Asterix and the Magic Cauldron game. This is generally agreed. However, it does seem to contradict the story as to why Horus to the Rescue was not completed during the 2.5-year gap between. Especially as the 2 previous Horus games had each been coded in a time significantly under a year. Sadly, we never saw an official William Tang Horus game again, but that's okay. He came, he created, and he left with a near-perfect trilogy loved by millions. As a testament to the enjoyment Horus brought to a generation, there were other Horus games that, whilst not Tang originals, are considered somewhat canon by the fans. Most notably, the Scion 3 series, Horus in the Mystic Woods, coded by Michael Ware, did see an official release on the rather uncollectible gaming format. In 2010, Horus in the Mystic Woods was converted to the Spectrum by Bob Smith. Despite Horus to the Rescue never receiving an official release, a coder called Steve Broad did release his take on the concept in 2013, taking his inspiration from Ocean's Hunchback. If you trawl the internet long enough, you'll realise that there is a whole world of Horace fan games out there, and really isn't that the best legacy to leave? Looking back on the official Horace trilogy, it's clear that Horace was a one-off. He looks ugly, has virtually no frames of animation, and he didn't even have a weapon throughout the series to fight off the guards, the vehicles, or the spiders. But Horace was the people's champion. People fell in love with this weird little underdog sprite, and willed him to victory time and time again. It's been over 3 decades since we first met him, and there are many out there that would dearly love to meet this old friend again. Hello again, I hope you enjoyed today's show, and thank you for the view. Remember, you can always comment, like, subscribe, and find us on the social media sites below. Happy collecting!